Welcome everyone to NoCoders Office Hours, episode number 207. I'm your host, Tanya. We're here with members Thomas, Brittany, Jonathan, Ritesh, and Suchitra. And we're going to get started in just a moment. But first, if this is your first time tuning in to Office Hours, we do this 6 times per week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and Mondays we have a second session at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you'd like to join us, just go to pronocoders.com, sign up for office hours, and we'll see you in the Zoom sessions. Welcome, everyone. Let's see here. We'll start with Ritesh. You were here in the waiting room first.
Okay.
How's your morning going?
Yeah, going good. How about you?
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, do you have any questions to get started?
Let me just check if Harsha has joined.
Harsha's not here yet.
Okay, then I'll go next.
Okay. Jonathan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have like a question in regards to a group that I have and not fitting to content vertically correctly.
Okay.
If that's all right. Yep.
Sure. Go for it.
Can you see this now?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, basically, with this group here, we have some sample data coming in. And at the moment, I can't seem to get this to expand based on the amount of content that's added. So I'll show you the settings for it, but we've essentially got a repeating group here. And the height of this is actually infinite. And then this group that it's contained within, that's the one I wanted to fit height to content.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to just be going to whatever the minimum height is set and then basically having it overflow horizontally like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just to show you, if I put the minimum up, now refresh. We just get this big tail, obviously, with like no content.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'd just be good if it would actually fit to the content and you know, be cut off so they're all the same size.
Okay. Let's see. I think, didn't we deal with this with your app, Ritesh?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, didn't we have a similar issue where we were trying to get the repeating group to be dynamic in height?
Yeah.
Did you solve that?
Uh,
I think we did. I think it has to do with the settings on your repeating group,
Cool.
Yes.
where it has to do with in the appearance section, actually. Has to do with the rows, like, but you don't have a fixed number of rows.
So you don't want to have fixed number of rows, or?
No, I don't think so. I guess like maybe we could look at, in this case, maybe 10 example pieces of data when it gets called. But at this stage, I think that we ideally would want to have the freedom of adding as much content as we'd want.
And
But
you want the horizontal, right? You want it to horizontal scroll?
Correct, yeah. That's a must for mobile functionality, just because of the amount of content here.
Got it.
It won't work if we can't scroll. Yeah.
So you mean to say you want to show 10 and then it should be horizontal scroll?
Yeah, so basically I just want the bottom of this container here to always go just underneath this and actually fit depending on the amount of rows of content. Yeah.
Okay.
It's worth mentioning too, probably, that I've actually.
Can you go to layout?
Yeah.
There's a repeating group layout.
I I think maybe you want a row instead of a column container.
Yeah.
What's the container it's in? The container it's in is aligned to parent. I think you might want a row instead.
On the repeating group or the
No, on
container
the
group?
group holding the repeating group. I think you want it to be a row instead.
I
And then just see. Well, there's only one thing in that row, right? There should only be one thing in the row, unless that plus button there is also something. It's in there. So
yeah, okay. It's all horizontal now.
Let's see.
It is a bit tricky with this repeating group because we had to use 2 groups inside of it to sort of
To get
apply
those
conditionals.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was the exact same problem that we were working on. Before, Ritesh.
Right.
I have it somewhere in here solved. Let me see if I can find it.
And have you used this same sort of method of the header in repeating groups as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm having trouble. This row of data is supposed to show essentially the first line of data, but it's only showing the second line of data now. And I'm not sure if I've done something. Like, do you know why that might be?
I thought we solved that the other day, where we were merging we were having the first. The first row was supposed to be like a dummy row of data, and then we merged it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I think we had to do it differently to that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Good point. I'll revisit that though, and I'll have a look at the last office hours and see if anything clicks. Yep.
Got it. I'm behind on posting office hours. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I haven't looked, so it's fine. Okay.
Over the weekend, if you guys need any particular episodes, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find, because it would have been in our December sandbox that we had that responsive repeating group conversation. Okay, I'm gonna let Lachlan in, and then I'll take over sharing.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can find it. So that's what we wanted, right? So I don't have any test data in here, but this is the header, right? And then it goes right down. So if I do a group around this one, let's just look at the groups here. So we've got group A, group B, and group C here. C is in there, and then the content around it is a column. Where's the repeating group? Here's the repeating group. So the repeating group is in Yeah, the parent group is just the column of the page. Then the repeating group is set to be a row. And then there's two groups in there. There's one holding the headers, right? That's group B, which is a row. And then there's the actual content is group C.
So basically the parent group and the two children need to all be row type container layout.
Yeah.
Okay, as opposed to align to parent for the top one. Yeah.
Yeah, so the page itself is set to be a column, and the page is what's holding the repeating group. So the repeating group's parent is the page, and the page is set to be a column, and then the repeating group is set to be a row. And then these are both rows inside of.
Cool. So the group that's holding my repeating group needs to be column then.
Yes, and then there was so group C, group B, and group A is holding them. So there's a group inside of the repeating group holding both of the rows here.
Yep.
That's a column. So yep.
Cool. Okay.
Give that a shot and see how that goes over. I struggled with this like on 2 or 3 different occasions. I was so frustrated trying to get it to work, but I finally got it working. So
nice, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Ritesh, it's your turn.
Yes, thank you. Harsha?
Yes, Ritesh.
Yeah, you can ask that PDF thing multiple thing. Okay, you can share your screen and ask that. So the question is, we wanted to create multiple invoices from Bubble. Okay, so we have the invoice data in a repeating group.
Okay.
And each invoice we wanted to print it separately. Okay, last time we discussed this, we had to contact what is that, PDF Conjure developer or something like that, but the client didn't want to put any more money into this. So what we did now is we are sending these details to Google Sheets via API, and then wrote a Google script to convert the data into PDF. Okay. So now the question is, we are able to send one data at a time from here to Google Sheets, because the script that is written that does not understand if we send multiple data at once.
Okay.
So we want to send like the user should be able to select multiple data at once, but internally in the backend we need to send one at a time.
Got it. Okay, perfect. That is a perfect use case for recursive workflows. So we will go to go ahead and go to the backend workflows. And then, do you already have one? Yeah, the Google Sheets API, Google PDF call. Okay, so that's on the page, right? So that's when you want to send one, but you might be sending multiple. So go ahead and so what we want to do is, how are the things, like what is the repeating group of? It's invoices?
Yes.
Okay. So you're trying to send each, like a list in there, and it's not working with a list, but it works if there's just one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what we want to do is take all of these go ahead and leave what you have there on the page. Go into the back end workflows. And then click to add an API workflow. And you can call it whatever makes sense, like invoice to Google Sheets or whatever. And you can't have any, I would not capitalize anything, and I would put an underscore instead of a space. I don't know why Bubble does not tell you that that's a mistake, but it's like one of those things where it'll just tell you there's an issue.
Harsha, also make it lowercase. Yep. Invoice I.
So now for each of those inputs that you had, like for where you had that call going, for each of those dynamic expressions that had the list of things that you were trying to send in, now you're going to add a parameter for each of those things. So where it says add a new parameter, so whatever the first one was called, and then if it's whatever the data type is, you need to select that. And then is a list array. Okay. Check that. Yep. And then add a new parameter. So you want to add one for each thing that you were sending a list for.
Oh, okay.
You might want to open them in 2 tabs. Harsha.
Yeah.
This and the front end.
Okay. How to open the 2 tabs?
Well, so if you go back to, if you duplicate the tab that you're in.
No. Just copy the link of this page. Yeah. Open it in one more tab. Yeah. Paste it. And now go to the front end workflow. And probably split the screen. Split it. Can you pull? Yeah, pull it from that tab. Get it down and then take it to the center, left half of the screen. Acha?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so where are the tabs?
It's opening a new browser. Yeah.
No.
I'm going to be traveling in February. I'm really worried about not having multiple screens for a month.
Yeah. Reduces the efficiency completely.
Yep.
You can get portable multiple screens to attach to your laptop.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Our business partner's got a dual set, so everywhere he goes, he's got his 3 screens no matter what. So
I was pricing those out when I thought I was going to be in Colombia for a month, and it's going to be for a little less than 3 weeks, so I might buy one. We'll see.
he was quite happy with his. I don't think it was the cheapest. I think it still worked out to be $400 a monitor, but it's If you want decent,
I was going to do the same thing.
and a good backlight and stuff, I think you don't want to get a cheap one, as it makes it quite hard to view them.
Yeah. My concern is just carrying it all with me everywhere. Try to be light. Okay, we could just continue. Do you want to just do this with one example of a parameter?
Yeah.
Or I can give you I can demonstrate a recursive workflow for you. Either way.
With one, I guess it's fine. I mean.
Okay, sure. So if you
just have to add the other parameters, that's it.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So if you go back to the back end workflows, Harsha. I don't know that I'm looking at what you're working on, because your screen seems pretty static.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the invoice sheet. Yep. So you can delete. Yep, perfect. So now click here to add an action. And then you're going to go to the plugins to make that call to Google Sheets again. Yep. And then what you're going to do is for that parameter that you got, yep, for that one, you're going to do invoice number and you're going to do first item. Yep. And then at the bottom of that, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to do that only when invoice number count is greater than 0. So just scroll down a little. Yep, it's greater than 0. Yep. And then you're going to schedule that same API workflow. So no, don't change yet. We're not done. So go to the end of that. So where it says click here to add an action. You're going to go down to custom events and schedule API workflow. And you're going to schedule the same API workflow, the invoice sheet. And the scheduled date is going to be current date and time. Sometimes I will add a second or two here to manually slow down bubble. Usually I don't have to. It just depends on if you see anything. Like if you think it's going to take a bit of time to get things through, then you might want to put a few seconds between them. So then click on invoice number. So where it says click, and you're going to say invoice number. Then you're going to go to more and go down to the bottom where it says minus item. And then you're going to say, after you click that, it's going to be invoice number first item. So click invoice number first item. So what you're doing is you're taking that first item that you already sent to Google off of the list of things that are being sent in. Then at the bottom, you're going to click only when invoice number is greater than count is greater than 0. Now, I'm assuming, and this is the only way that it will work, that each parameter that you're sending in is going to have exactly the same number of things in those lists, right? So you can,
yes.
So it should work fine if you just use the invoice number count. You don't need to also like the only when doesn't, the condition doesn't need to take any of the other numbers into account. But you will have to do the other part where you say the invoice number minus item, invoice number first item. You're going to have to do that for each of the parameters.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that you're taking the first one off of each list. And then that's how that will run. So then all you have to do to get this to work is then go into the front end.
No, one minute. Here, shouldn't it be count greater than 1? Because if it's the last item, then we don't want to go back again.
Oh, it's okay, because when it runs one extra time, it doesn't hurt anything.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because a lot of times at the end, what I'll do is I'll have one that says invoice number account is less than 1, then I'll send like an email confirmation that it's done or something.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like it's
Yeah.
like you could send some sort of like you could have a loading animation on the page that's waiting for it to finish, and then you could send a signal to the database that it's done when it's less than 1, and then it could stop that loading animation. So things like that.
Okay. And in the first step, it should be count, right?
It should be what?
Oh, okay. It's already count. My bad. Okay.
Yep, and that'll keep it from doing an infinite loop, which is important because I broke an app once with an infinite loop.
Okay.
Like I suffered for 2 days. It was not happy.
Okay.
Yeah. And recursive workflows are amazing. I have one working. It's still working now. Yeah. It's been going all day long.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, it looks like it may have given up after 5,032 things. I'll have to go back and check. Maybe restart it. But 1 every 3 seconds for 5,032 things. That's pretty good, Bubble.
Oh. And this all can work with the personal plan, or should we upgrade?
Oh, that works with the personal plan. You're fine. The only thing that doesn't work with the personal plan is if you're using the recurring API workflow and you want it to be less than a month recurring. But the recursive, see, I call that the ignorance tax, because you can set a recursive workflow to run 1 every second, no problem. So.
Interesting. Okay, nice.
Yep. So then just to schedule that on the front end, you would schedule precisely.
Yeah. So on the click of button, I'm just showing the API. Like.
Yep. And then you had a beautiful example of all of the different things that you were going to send in. So did you delete that or no? Where you had the API call, but on the front end?
Yeah.
Arsha?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, yeah, because you can pull that in there, and then you can just copy, because you can just create the parameters, and then you can just copy and paste.
This one to the backend of it.
Yeah, because you can take each. I mean, you already have those expressions perfect, so I would just copy that and then copy each expression into the parameters after you get the parameters set up.
Okay.
Yeah, in the backend.
Yep.
Okay.
And that should work.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yeah, of course. Jonathan, Lachlan, any questions?
I'm just going through everything, and I don't think there's really anything I can ask you just at the moment. Like I've got a fair bit I can take away with, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I did talk to Eli last week, and he's keen to dive into trying to OAuth your users using
Awesome.
Zero. So
Perfect.
yeah, so he just had a work trip that he had to do this week, but I'll just loop him in when he's back from that trip. I'll loop him in your private channel. So.
Yeah,
Awesome.
please do. Happy to schedule a call and we'll run through it and get something booked in. Perfect.
Yeah, he thought that sounded like a great idea, so I was proud of myself. I was like, oh, yay.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a few Zano questions as well. I might loop them into that chat as well.
Absolutely.
Working with arrays and Zano, I'm struggling a little bit, but I'll post that through.
Perfect. Ritesh, do you have any other questions?
Yes. Nothing to share, but I just want to understand, does Bubble support multiple links? Like, for example, white labeling and stuff like that?
Yes. So if you want to white label in the production plan, which is like the $500 per month plan, you can spin off clones of your app, and each one is its own instance and has its own database. So I'll just share my screen real quick and show you. So if you go into your settings and you go into your app plan, if you were to choose a production plan, that gives you lots of different things. One of the most exciting things is, so it says it's 475, and you're like, why is it 475? So one of the most exciting things is it gives you 20 versions of your development, which is amazing because that's multiple devs can work on it. And then let's see here, sub apps. So white labeling. You don't have to worry. This is not what you mean by white labeling. It's the sub apps. Where's the main app and sub apps? This part that you can only get on the production plan. Now, if you just want to have, if you don't mind segmenting the database and having all of the apps run on the same Bubble database, or if you wanted to do external databases and have kind of like the front end all in one app, main Bubble app, there are a couple of plugins that will allow you to link different domains into the same app. So one is called, I think it's like $25 per month. It's two different plugins. So let's see if we can find it on the plugins page. Let's see here.
Is there a limit on the number of domains you could bring in? Sorry.
I don't think so. So SaaS alias multiple domains, and then
50.
I think it's like $100 once, and then it's $50 per month. So you have to have both of them, because you have to pay for the one-time one, and then you have to have the $50 a month one. I've never used this, but I was approached by someone who was like, can we teach you how to use this, and then you do all of the support for us? And I said yes, and they disappeared on me. So apparently the plugin author is not particularly keen to like help people out, but there's a thread on the Bubble forum where you can kind of follow along with other people's journeys, and then if you ask Andrew McBurney, you can say, Tanya said she'd teach me this if you teach her, and I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to learn it. So this is sort of the like inexpensive way, because this is $50 a month.
Of course.
$500.
Nice. At least there is a way.
Yeah, exactly. So there's another competitor that does something similar. So it's worth checking that one out as well.
Okay.
But the thing that is nice about it, because I'm actually was just on the phone with a client today who was planning to do the production plan, and I have a client who uses the production plan for the same reason, and it is simply like an exact copy. It's like if you were to copy the app in the app page. So like if you went to your apps and you copied the app and made an exact instance, it's just you didn't like have the database, right? It would just be an all new database. So
okay.
Yep.
No, I believe I'm good with one database. The only reason I wanted the different links was, I mean, very active on AppSumo and its community, and a lot of people would want to white label the entire platform with their logo, with their links and stuff like that for like DigiCards or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And
like if you do the right database structure, then you could
right.
totally pull that off with SAS alias instead.
Wonderful. Okay, very nice. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So sorry, I kind of just missed a little bit of that. So we could kind of make customizations in terms of like the logo and the styling using that tool.
Yeah, so well, using that tool, you wouldn't necessarily have to have different use SAS alias to do that. But if you wanted it to be a different domain,
Okay, yeah, just with the
name
domain
and the
functionality.
URL, yeah, you would.
And then
Yep.
we just dynamically update the content based on. Could
You
it be
could-
dynamic
you could
based on the?
Yep. It
Yes.
can.
Cool. So we would have like a different login page and stuff as required.
You could have different. Yes, you could do everything like based on what the URL is, right? Because
Okay.
this URL is a is a function in Bubble. So like if I'm going to like my workflows here, I don't have any workflows. Let's just do one on general pages loaded, right? I can make here, I can say this page, but I could also say this URL.
Awesome. Yep. Perfect.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Good question. That's an awesome functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everything else you can make it dynamic within Bubble. It was only the link that I was confused about whether this is possible or not. And yeah, that's also possible. Wonderful.
Yep. What else can I tell you? We're going to have a, I believe this is still on the calendar. I think either Saturday or Sunday, Eli is going to build a SAS where it's an app for parents and children to manage chores. And he's going to build it live. So we're going to be broadcasting that live next weekend.
When is this planned?
What was that? I don't have the exact time yet. I just know that that's the plan. So.
Okay. Can you use Xano as the backend, maybe?
I'm not sure. We'll have to see what he decides to do. He was planning on just building it for himself and for his own kids, and I convinced him that he should make it a SAS instead. I was like, I mean, you're going to show us how to build it, but why not just make it so that we can sign up for it? Because I certainly need that for my kid and her chores. So. And then he's got another one planned for the weekend after, but I forget what it's supposed to be about. Something cool, though.
I think it'd be really interesting to see the whole design process from the start from someone like Eli. So I'm really keen for that.
Oh, the design process. That's interesting because he'll be like one of the first people to tell you that he's not a designer, but he did do our design for like our login stuff because he was not liking the one that we had. So for NoCoders, the vault is awesome, but it's not what I wanted. So this was done custom by Pablo. This was Pablo's design. And then the sign up and login is all Eli. So he did this.
Cool.
Yeah, it would be cool to hear his thoughts on it.
Yeah, when I say design, I guess I meant like his logic behind the way he organizes everything and the workflow.
Like the groups and things like that? Or
just everything, how he approaches to like making an app. I think it'd be interesting.
Well, I think Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do on Saturday or Sunday of this coming weekend. Is he's going to just go live and spend several hours building this app, and I asked him to make it a SaaS, so which is
Awesome.
is a big ask. I added many hours to his to his original project, but I was like, but it could be for our product studio. So yeah. And that means he'll be covering Stripe, right? And subscriptions and all that fun stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool to know.
Yeah. Anything else I can answer for you, gentlemen?
No, I can't think of anything. No.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up office hours and move into the after hours section. If you'd like to join us and ask your bubble questions, please go to pronocoders.com and sign up, and we'll see you on the next Zoom. Thanks, everybody.